So this weekend, I was having a can't tear my eyes away moment watching something on Netflix. It's called Popstar Academy. And the premise is that some of the biggest masterminds in the South Korean as well as American music and entertainment industry are coming together to form a global girl pop group. Now, the South Koreans have unlocked a very formulaic way to create successful pop groups. And so they have now created the show where you're following 20 girls as they get narrowed down to the final 6 that create the next big thing. My boyfriend comes in, he's like, okay, first of all, you're like a 50-year-old woman. Why are you watching a show about teenage girls? I had an answer. One, I was just amazed by the formula, the precision, the amount of detail that goes into this level of excellence. And number 2, I just thought the entire series was a masterclass in how to give feedback. There are definite takeaways for someone to be able to take into how you lead a team or how you deal with clients. I certainly learned from it. So here are my top 3 takeaways. Number 1, connect to your why. There was a moment where one of the producers was watching the gals dance and he's like, I don't think you know why you want this. I don't think you know why you're here. And if you don't connect to it, it's actually showing up in your dance moves. It's showing up in the precision with which you're hitting the moves. So I translate that into, if you don't connect to your own why, maybe your eyes are dead as you're presenting the next thing to your leadership. Maybe you don't have as much passion when you're presenting it, but all of that shows up in your performance. And I thought that was really interesting when you don't connect to your why. Second thing, show your individualism, but always think about uniformity. What was interesting is that some of the gals that are contenders were sourced from Instagram. And one of the gals in particular had a really amazing solo career. But now she was being plugged into a team dynamic. And so the work for her was to not overpower when she was singing with the group, but to harmonize, work as a team, have her team's back as she was performing. And that was something that kept coming up again and again and again. Number 3, I thought this was really interesting from the perspective of the feedbacker. He's obviously, like I said, created some of the biggest bands in the world, including BTS, which is a huge, huge deal. He's like, I have created greatness, but I want others to weigh in. In other words, feedback lands differently given who is giving the feedback. And sometimes it lands differently for the person receiving it. So he brought in a veritable army of people to offer feedback, both from Hollywood and from the South Korean entertainment industry, to offer feedback because he knew with a group this large of 20 girls, he was going to need to offer different kinds of feedback that was going to land differently. And it wasn't going to be just vague feedback. It was going to be very actionable and it was going to be very specific. The stakes were high. So in this carousel today, I offer different mistakes that you might be making when you're offering feedback as a leader or as a coach, and 6 fixes. I do this every single week. If you would like to subscribe to the series, just hit the bell notification, and there's a link below that you can actually sign up to get my entire Substack of scripts.